Prayer is not merely a religious ritual. It is the lifeblood of our spiritual existence, a celestial tether that binds us to the infinite love and grace of the Almighty. It is our sanctuary in times of despair, our fortress when we feel overwhelmed, and our celestial compass guiding us through life's tumultuous seas. Through prayer, we surrender our burdens, anxieties, and trials to a higher power, exchanging them for an indescribable peace that surpasses all understanding. To pray is not a perfunctory act or a mere formality. It is a sacred invitation to commune with the Creator, a divine appointment to listen for His still, small voice amid the clamor of the world. It is an opportunity to offer not only petitions, but also gratitude and adoration. Prayer is the cornerstone of our faith, the foundation upon which we build a profound relationship with God. It is the wellspring from which we draw strength to face life's challenges and navigate our spiritual journey. Perhaps you are feeling lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. Maybe you carry burdens too heavy to bear alone, or you feel isolated in a crowded world. Know this: you are not alone. In prayer, you are reminded of God's constant companionship. He knows you intimately, and He longs to pour out His love, power, and comfort upon you. In this video, we will explore the transformative power of prayer and discover how it can enrich every aspect of our lives. We will learn that prayer is not just for times of trouble, but is a daily practice that deepens our connection with the divine. It is through prayer that we align our wills with God's, surrendering our plans and desires to His perfect timing. As we cultivate the discipline of prayer, we will experience the abundant blessings that flow from a heavenly source. Have you ever felt a longing for something more in life? A yearning for peace that surpasses understanding? Prayer is the answer. Don't hesitate to pour out your heart to God. Trust that He hears your every cry and is eager to respond. As you approach the throne of grace, you will find a safe haven, a source of strength, and a companion who will never leave you nor forsake you. Join me on this spiritual journey as we delve into the profound significance of prayer. Together, we will unlock the door to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Let us embrace the power of prayer and experience the transformative love of God. Prayer isn't merely a religious ritual. It's the very heartbeat of our spiritual lives, where we engage in an unseen, yet profound, spiritual battle. Ephesians 6:12 explicitly states, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age." This verse reminds us that the Christian life is not a leisurely stroll, but a relentless war against spiritual forces, where trials and temptations lurk at every corner. Amidst this spiritual warfare, prayer emerges as our most potent weapon. Through prayer, believers not only find solace amidst life's storms, but also receive the power to overcome challenges. Prayer anchors us when the world around us is shaken. In our darkest hours, God is ever present, offering His divine protection and restoration, granting us peace that surpasses all understanding. To experience this divine protection and grace, we must cultivate the discipline of consistent prayer. This requires not only time, but also unwavering faith. 1 Thessalonians 5:17 exhorts us to pray without ceasing. This is not merely advice, but a divine command. God calls us to maintain a constant communion with Him, regardless of our circumstances. Such persistence requires a deep-rooted trust that God hears our prayers and will answer in His perfect time and way. The story of Daniel serves as a powerful testament to the efficacy of persistent prayer. In Daniel 6:10-23, we see Daniel praying 3 times a day, even at the risk of his life. Despite a royal decree, he refused to compromise his devotion. When thrown into the lion's den, God miraculously shut the mouths of the beasts, preserving his life. This account not only saved Daniel, but also glorified God, demonstrating his immense power and unwavering love. This narrative teaches us that prayer is not always easy. It may require us to face opposition and even danger. Yet when we remain faithful and trust in God, he will never leave us to fight alone. He is our refuge, our strength, and our shield in times of trouble. Psalm 46:1 assures us, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Indeed, prayer is more than words. It's a sacred conversation between us and God, where we pour out our hearts and seek his guidance. As we persist in prayer, God transforms our hearts and minds. The challenges we face become opportunities for growth, and our faith is strengthened. In times of trial, prayer provides purpose. God does not allow us to endure hardships without a reason. Through prayer, we gain divine perspective, understanding that all things work together for our good. Even when answers are delayed, God's presence is enough to calm our troubled spirits. Remember, the peace God gives is not like the world's peace. It's a peace that transcends all understanding, a peace that guards our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. To cultivate a consistent prayer life, start by setting aside dedicated times for prayer throughout the day. Even a few minutes of focused prayer can make a significant difference. Psalm 18:2 states, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer." When you begin each day in prayer, you are committing your entire life to God's care. Let us follow the example of Daniel and remain steadfast in our prayers, regardless of the circumstances. When we feel discouraged, remember that prayer is not a futile exercise, but a powerful act of faith. God is listening, and he is ready to move on our behalf. Prayer is your most potent weapon. It is the key that unlocks the door to God's blessings. So continue to pray and experience the transforming power of a life lived in communion with the Almighty. Morning prayer is more than a mere routine. It is a sacred ritual that fortifies our spiritual connection with the divine. As Psalm 5:3 beautifully expresses, "In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice." This verse invites us to begin each day by tuning our hearts to the heart of God, making him the cornerstone of our thoughts, decisions, and actions. This daily practice is not a mundane task, but a sacred offering. When we wake up and choose to spend our first moments with God, we are presenting him with the finest fruits of our day, our focused attention and sincere devotion. This act not only honors God, but also positions him as the sovereign Lord of our lives. The Creator of time and eternity values this offering and responds with his unwavering love and guidance. David, a man after God's own heart, Acts 13:22, exemplified the power of morning prayer. In Psalm 5:3, he declares, "In the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice." This is a testament to his unwavering trust in God. David made it a habit to present his desires, plans, and concerns to the Lord each morning. Through this practice, he received divine direction, peace, and strength to overcome life's challenges. David's example teaches us that prioritizing prayer is an invitation to God to intervene in our lives. Morning prayer is our way of entrusting our day to him, believing that he will lead and bless us. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." 1. By submitting even our smallest decisions to God, we align ourselves with his perfect plan. Consistency is key to making morning prayer a habit. In a world filled with distractions, it may seem challenging to carve out time for quiet reflection. However, every moment spent with God is an investment in our spiritual well-being. Morning prayer not only provides purpose in our trials, but also brings a peace that surpasses understanding. Philippians 4:6-7. To cultivate a meaningful morning prayer routine, set aside a quiet space and time to connect with God. Begin by expressing gratitude for his blessings, both big and small. Share your hopes, dreams, and concerns with Him. Don't be afraid to pour out your heart, knowing that He hears your every word. As you consistently seek Him, you will experience His transformative power in your life. Reflect on a day that began with prayer. You'll notice the difference in your perspective, your decisions, and your overall outlook. Challenges may arise, but they will be met with a sense of peace and purpose. Every aspect of your day will be touched by God's presence. Prioritizing morning prayer is a declaration that God is first in your life. Through prayer, you receive not only divine guidance, but also an intimate connection with the Creator. Don't let the busyness of life overshadow this precious time. Make it a daily habit to seek God's face first thing in the morning. As you do, you will experience the abundant blessings that come from living a life centered on Him. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become so engrossed in the hustle and bustle of daily life that we neglect our spiritual well-being. The demands of work, family, and social responsibilities can often overshadow our connection with God. However, it is precisely in these moments of busyness that prayer becomes our lifeline, anchoring us to the divine. Psalm 37:23 reminds us, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with His hand." When we prioritize prayer, we invite God to guide and strengthen us, even in the most challenging circumstances. Job, a man of unwavering faith, faced immense suffering yet clung to God through prayer. Despite losing everything, he refused to turn away from the Lord. His unwavering trust in God's sovereignty is a testament to the power of prayer. In the end, God restored Job's fortunes and blessed him abundantly. In today's world, it can be tempting to prioritize our to-do lists over our time with God. However, a life without prayer is a life devoid of spiritual nourishment. When we neglect our spiritual well-being, we become vulnerable to stress, anxiety, and despair. To cultivate a deeper connection with God, we must make prayer a daily habit. Even a few minutes of quiet reflection can have a profound impact on our lives. As we pour out our hearts to God, we experience a sense of peace and clarity that surpasses all understanding. Let us not allow the busyness of life to hinder our spiritual growth. By prioritizing prayer, we can find solace in God's presence, strength in His promises, and hope for the future. Remember, God is always listening, and He longs to connect with us. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us turn to prayer as our source of strength and guidance. Let us embrace the transformative power of prayer and experience the peace that surpasses all understanding. Prayer is not merely a religious practice, it is a sacred communion with the divine, a lifeline that connects us to the heart of God. As Psalm 5:3 beautifully expresses, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice." This verse invites us to begin each day by tuning our hearts to the heart of God, making Him the center of our thoughts, decisions, and actions. Prayer is more than a routine. It is a profound act of worship, a humble acknowledgement of God's sovereignty. When we dedicate the first moments of our day to God, we are offering Him the finest fruits of our time and attention. This act of devotion strengthens our relationship with Him and positions Him as the ultimate authority in our lives. The life of David, a man after God's own heart, Acts 13:22, exemplifies the power of prayer. In Psalm 5:3, he declares, "In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice." This heartfelt expression of trust reveals the depth of David's relationship with God. He consistently turned to God in prayer, seeking His guidance, strength, and provision. The story of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane offers a poignant example of the transformative power of prayer. As Jesus faced the ultimate sacrifice, He prayed fervently to His Father, surrendering His will to the divine plan. Matthew 26:39 records, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." Through prayer, Jesus found the strength to endure the cross and offer salvation to humanity. Prayer is not a passive act, but a dynamic interaction with God. It is a two-way conversation where we pour out our hearts to Him and listen for His still, small voice. As we pray, we invite God to work in our lives, transforming our hearts and minds. To cultivate a vibrant prayer life, we must make it a daily priority. Set aside time each day to connect with God, whether it's a few minutes or an extended period. Pour out your heart to Him, sharing your joys, sorrows, and hopes. Listen for His gentle guidance and embrace the peace that surpasses all understanding. Remember, God is always listening. He desires a deep and abiding relationship with us. Through prayer, we can experience the fullness of His love, grace, and power. Let us embrace the power of prayer and allow it to transform our lives. Prayer is a sacred conduit that connects our souls to the infinite love of God. It is more than a mere ritual. It is a profound spiritual practice that nourishes our faith, strengthens our resolve, and fills us with divine peace. As we persevere in prayer, we unlock the boundless power of God to work in our lives. Psalm 37:23 assures us, "The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in Him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with His hand." Through prayer, we invite God's divine intervention in our lives, empowering us to overcome obstacles and emerge victorious. The life of Jesus Christ exemplifies the transformative power of prayer. In the Garden of Gethsemane, He prayed fervently, surrendering His will to the Father's divine plan. His prayer, marked by profound humility and unwavering faith, demonstrates the potency of prayer in the face of adversity. To cultivate a vibrant prayer life, we must make it a daily priority. By setting aside time each day to commune with God, we invite His presence into our lives. As we pour out our hearts to Him, sharing our joys, sorrows, and hopes, we experience the peace that surpasses all understanding. Remember, God is not distant or indifferent. He longs to hear from His children and to pour out His blessings upon them. Let us approach the throne of grace with boldness, confident that He hears our prayers and will answer according to His perfect will. As we share our testimonies of God's faithfulness, we inspire others to seek Him. Let us be a beacon of hope, encouraging others to embrace the transformative power of prayer. By sharing our stories, we not only glorify God, but also strengthen the faith of others. May we all strive to live a life characterized by prayer and devotion. Let us seek God's face daily, trusting in His divine providence. As we do, we will experience the fullness of His love and grace, and our lives will be forever transformed.